than they were 20 years ago, according to the latest report from the Central Statistical Office. But what's happened to men in the same period? Received wisdom is that the battle of the sexes is over, and it wasn't men who won. True, women are still disadvantaged at work when it comes to pay, and a certain species of bone-headed male bigot still in authority in some companies. Well, now, the observant among you will have noticed I'm joined now by four men. First of all, Terry Timlett of the Exeter men's group. Has the advance of women generally, do you think, meant a reverse for men?
I don't know about a reverse for men. I think it's created some problems for us, which we're only just beginning to catch up with. What kind of problems? Well, I'm old enough to have lived through the 60s period. I think a number of us went through that period. We thought the answer to the problems that we were seeing at that time was to become more like the women, access the sort of more sensitive side of ourselves. I don't know that that's been altogether a great success. I think it's good that we've looked at that area, but I think it's left a lot of us rather confused.
Now, Ian Kelly of the UK men's movement, your organisation believes that almost all social and legal changes have been at the expense of men in the last 20 years. So presumably you think the advance of women has meant a reverse for us?
Well, the effects of, first of all, the CSO report that you're discussing, I did say to your research today that our movement had absolutely no comment to make on that matter.
I'm not asking you to comment on that. I'm asking you for a general observation about whether the advance of women has meant a reverse for men.
If you would allow me to finish, Mr. Paxman, I wanted to conclude what I was saying by the effects on men have occurred through, in fact, the perverted chivalry of male establishment.
What does that mean? Ben Renshaw, you are what is known as a new man. Do you think your dad would recognise your life?
I think certain aspects of it. I'm not a great one for labels, but I do think today that men do need to wake up to changing roles in society, and I think that men today cannot just be the provider. I do think that they need to be able to communicate their feelings. They need to be able to respond to women's emotional needs, and I think the old stereotype of men does need to be questioned.
Does that mean taking on some female characteristics?
Well, I suppose in some ways, yes, in terms of being a lot more flexible around the home, being willing to support women in that way, and especially if you've got working women, they'd be looking at three full-time jobs.
Jonny Wilde, I don't want to label everybody, but let's shorthand. Let's call you a new lad.
Yes.
Do you know many new men?
No, sadly they don't exist, because he knows, you know, and I know that basically this is all a load of hogwash. The reason why he's saying all this is to improve his chances of getting his leg over on a Saturday night. This is what it's all about, you see. This is what it's all about. The new man never existed. The new man sat down and he realised, the man sat down and he realised that basically he thought this is what women wanted. They wanted blokes who were in touch with their feminine sides and all this. But it's, what he's talking about. It's all about shagging. That's what it's about.
So you have, you never do the washing up.
I do my share.
Cooking?
I do my share, but I don't brag about it. You see, I don't feel like I need to stand up on the soapbox and brag about it like this fella.
But you do need to brag about other aspects of your maleness. You need to brag about shagging, as he put it.
Oh no, I'm not. No.
Your type brag about drinking, for example.
No, I could. Well, you see, you're making assumptions here. If you want to talk about the new lad, the new lad in a sense, he's Bob from the Likely Lads, who's read a few chapters of J.P. Don Levy. That's what he is, but it's it's entirely in the minds of the media. Basically this bloke does not exist, and this bloke doesn't exist. He's having us on. He's having us on.
For me, you see, with the new man, what's important.
I would disagree fundamentally with John about this, because whatever he says, there has been some huge changes over the last 20 years. And if he doesn't acknowledge it, he's being rather thick. That's my view.
Oh, no. With all due respect, that is a total hogwash. When you get down to the attitudes that exist between men and women, the time-honoured gulf between men and women. Basically, there's men, there's women, there's men. Do you follow me? Basically, nothing has changed. Women are basically the same as they always been. These fabulous creatures, ever fascinating, sweet, shy, mysterious characters. Blokes, let me tell you what blokes are like. They look in the mirror every morning, and what they see looking back at them They're filthy, disgusting pigs. They've got one thing on their mind. I'm sorry to have to say this, but, you know, I'd include us all in this.
But if that's what you see staring back at you in the morning, why haven't you taken the decision that he's taken, for example, and created someone you can look at first thing in the morning?
Swimming against the tide of history. That's what he's doing.
I see.
Swimming against the tide of history. It's a hopeless cause. And women don't want it, you see. This is what he's realised.
No, I strongly disagree with that.
Women,
no.
He thinks this is what women want, but they don't. You know, they don't want some bloke sitting on the sofa talking about how he wants to change the nappy.
Well, I'm puzzled to think. You don't think women want that? What do you think women want, John?
Well, no. What I'm saying is that, you know, they might want little bits of that from time to time, but they, you know, they don't want to be bored stupid by it. You know, I mean, I know these sort of new men types. You know, I've been around their houses, and it's not a pleasant experience. They sit there, and, you know, they got this sort of twinkle in the eye, and they start talking about the nappy change and all that, and they think, you know,
you think this is a subterfuge?
Yes, it's a ruse.
It doesn't occur to you they might actually enjoy it?
Mr. Paxman, it's a ruse. It's a ruse. They're sitting there and they've got this twinkle in the eye and they're thinking the women are going for this, and the women are wearing this look on their faces as though they're standing next to a rancid drain. I mean, they don't go for it one iota. They don't buy into it. They know what is in the hearts of men.
Okay, we got the point. Ian Kelly, when you look at the evidence produced in this report today, thank you all very much. Tomorrow morning's newspapers, Labour MP... sorry, I can't find a camera. Here we are. Labour MP attacks new Stalinists in the Times. US presses allies to open new Bosnia. Peace talks in the Financial Times. Solicitors in ambulance chasing round the Telegraph. And that's the front page of the Herald Tribune, and that's the front page of the European. That's all from Newsnight for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night with more. Until then, from all of us on the programme, good night.